Hey guys, TF Arm here. We're sorry that we haven't been uploading for around 3 to 4 weeks now. Life's been a bit busy. Okay, I recently came back from Singapore for vacation. The boys, Cube, Car, Lizard, they recently graduated from their college. Congratulations to them. And some of us are in quarantine order, so hopefully they'll recover fast and hopefully they'll join tourney as soon as possible, I guess. On to the video. Today I will be bringing you my deck list for my current favorite deck, which is Kairi, Esthesis Kairi. So why this deck, right? This deck, honestly, it's very fun. One of the most fun decks I've ever played in Overdress. I've been playing Lyrical for almost half a year now. Lyrical is my only deck. I kind of have quite a vast amount of knowledge in this deck and how to play it. So I want to share that knowledge to people who wants to play Kairi.
Alright, first we'll start off with the right deck. For the grade 0, we play Esthesis Mion. There's a reason why we specifically play her, and I'll get into her later. The grade 1 is Esthesis Nanami. So what she does is, when she is placed on the Vanguard circle, you select one grade 1 or below from the drop zone and you call it to an open rearguard as Res. The grade 2 is Esthesis Kiora. So what she does is, when she attacks, you choose up to one card from the rearguard circle and you bounce it to hand. Easy. The second skill is, when on rearguard, when she is boosted, she gains plus 5000 power. The main grade 3 that we play is Esthesis Kairi, the main girl in this deck. So what she does is, when she attacks, Soul Blast 1, you select up to 2 cards from the rearguard circle and you return them to the hand. The second skill is, at the end of the battle that she attacks and she Persona wrote this turn, you can select up to 2 cards and call it to 2 different rows. Alright, for the grade 4, we only play, the only grade 4 there is in Lyrical, which is Esthesis Life Kairi. So like any grade 4, she has a triple drive, right? But her skill is just like her grade 3 counterpart, but even better. Because her first skill, right, whenever a unit is placed on the rearguard, it gives like 5000 power. Then the second skill is, when she attacks, if there's a Kairi in soul, you choose 2 cards from the field, return it to hand, and then you choose 2 cards from hand, you call it to the rearguard circle. So bear in mind, the call to is mandatory, but it doesn't say it needs to be on open rearguard. So if there's, let's say, front row attack, and then you return the back row to hand, and then you call it to the front row, that works, but it's not a very good move in this deck, and I'll show you why. Next up, we play the grade 3 BEATSTICK, which is Kelfi. So this card was inspired by the WGP list who won using Kairi. Actually, I understand why he plays it, because during my playtesting, I was like, I need some big beat sticks that hit good number, maybe something that hits over 20, and then that's where this card comes in, right? So what she does is, when she is placed, she gets plus 10k. If your Vanguard is Esthesis Life Kairi, this will plus 15, so this will hit 25. Assuming your opponent hits a damage trigger, this will still hit for 5k. Then if she is boosted with an 8k, this is gonna swing for 33. So that's an additional magic number. Alright, for the grade 2 slots, I play 3 AERITH, 3 MELTY, 2 Cecilia, and 2 Vibrant Symphony. Alright, regarding the choices, right? MELTY is broken. Well, not game breaking, but what people need to realize is MELTY is a generic card, despite it having a friend's ability. So what she does is you call her, counterblast one, you call one card, and then you draw one. It's amazing in a format where, you know, plusing is very, very valuable. This is very good. Her friend is usually this card. So this card is what MELTY does. So you just call her, counterblast one, you draw one. But she has a condition where she needs to have 3 other rear guards. And also the difference is, this is during the main phase only. While this, you can use it during the main phase or the battle phase. So let's say you are on your grade 4 turn, right? So when Kairi attacks, you return her, then you call her, you can use counterblast one and draw one. So then if you have 2 of them, right, assuming you have full field, so just call 2, counterblast 2, and you draw 2. Very amazing, honestly. This one is AERITH. So why do I play 3 copies of AERITH? Okay, when I was playtesting, right, when I write Kairi, just the normal Esthesis Kairi, her turn is the weakest turn you could ever ask. It's so usually your position is like there's a grade 1, there's a grade 0 or something. So it attacks, attack, soul plus 1, return 2 to hand. You do your twin drives, you pull something good, you pull nothing, feels bad. Then you attack with your rear guard, right? I mean, 3 attack swing and then return 2. It's good, but you know, you kind of need something extra, something that needs a bit more aggression into it. That's why I play AERITH. So what she does is when she's boosted, right, when she attacks and she's boosted, you can counterblast 1 and then you can call 1 card into the open rearguard circle. So because of grade 3 Kairi, you can make an empty column here. And then this one, she get boosted, counterblast 1, call something. You can call, you know, anything. You can call Cecilia, right? You can call this grade 1. You can call LAPLUME, right? Anything is beautiful here. These cards are usually your targets. And I'll get into these 2 later. Then I have 2 slots, right? I have 2 slots. I want something defensive because nowadays during tournaments or during practice fights, I'm being rushed early. You know, I have to commit a few cards just to keep myself low or equal damage to them, right? Usually they attack for like 20 plus, and sometimes my triggers, they're not enough. So what I would play is Vibrant Symphony. This card, right? I really love this card. This card helps me during when I play Clarissa, right? This is to block Loronero beforehand. Now, this is good to block some rush. So what you do is, you receive 1 damage, just use this Blitz Order, and then you get 30k shield initially. You only play 2 copies because 4 or more, it's not really good, honestly. 2 copies is enough, right? Yeah, those are my grade 2, I guess. Alright, on to the grade 1 slots. We have 4 Perfect Guards, right? 3 LAPLUME, 2 CARDIA, and then we have one of the main cards in this deck actually. 4 Eileen. So what LAPLUME does is when she is placed, right, you can call an Esthesis card from the soul as rest. And if it's during the battle phase, you may stand that card, right? So what LAPLUME does during the grade 4 turn, so when Kairi attacks, right, Kairi attacks, return this card to hand, call this, pass 5k, and then her skill. Usually you want to call Kiora here. Now Kiora plus 5k also. Then when this attacks, plus additional 5k, so this will hit for 33, magic number, basic magic number. Then she also can combo off with AERITH, right? With AERITH. So attack, call LAPLUME, then LAPLUME can call Kiora. But this one is a bit weaker. This is gonna be 23. This card, this combo ideally is very good on the turn 4, not really good on the turn 3. But it is, you know, when you have the opportunity to attack more, you may want to do it actually, right? Also, for LAPLUME, right, she has one weakness, is that your soul, right, your soul you may run out of soul very easily, right? So sometimes what you want to do during turn 1 is, all right, you discard her, right? Discard her, you write Nanami, then Nanami call LAPLUME as rest, and then she calls Mion as rest. Now you have 2 rear guards for free. Easy. Next, you know, 4 perfect guards. I need to say more, right? Perfect guard is staple in every deck. You know, if you're not playing it, it's either 1, you're trolling, 2, you're trolling, right? Next, we also have CARDIA. So CARDIA is actually an alternative BEATSTICK in this deck. So what you can do with Calfee, right? What you can do is, when the grade 4 Kairi attacks, return and call this plus 5k plus 15k. This is for 25, this is for 20. This is not too bad, but if you put them together like this, right? So this will essentially, this is 15k plus 10k plus 10k, and then plus another 10k, 5k here. So this will be a 45k column, which is actually pretty big in the late game. And during the turn 1, you can also just call her, hit for 15, easy. This one you can use for early game rush. Aileen here, right? This card is bonkers, honestly. So what she does is, when she boosts a rear guard, you check top deck, either you put it to the top or put it to the bottom. This card at first was actually not that easy to use, honestly, right? Because there are decisions that you need to make in your mind. Okay, so she boosts. You check top. Is it a trigger? Yes, put it to top. Is it a trigger? No, put it to the bottom. Then you check top again. If it's a normal unit, yes. Is it something that you need? Maybe. Do you have Cecilia in your hand? If yes, put it to the top. If it's not, put it to the bottom, right? And then you can also check your over triggers with this and like, oh, over trigger, I'll put it to the top. You can also play good mind games with this card, honestly. Very good card, especially in the late game. This is one of your key cards to your win conditions. Now, for the trigger lineup, we play 5 draws, 4 heals, 7 crits, and 1 over trigger. Let me tell you why I play more draws and not more crits nor fronts, right? So in this deck, you want your combo pieces as fast as possible. You want your Kairi to be in your hand as fast as possible. It makes sense for me to play more draws. And also you need the shield as well, right? But personally, in all my lyrical decks, I love to play draws. I value draws more than front triggers, even though front triggers give me a bigger shield, but the draw is very beautiful. It's very nice. It helps me a lot, honestly. Then you have the critical triggers, right? Crit, it's easy. Crit wins games, honestly. You don't necessarily have to play the critical trigger with effect. It's nice to have, but if you can't afford this, it's fine. You can just play normal plain triggers. For the over trigger, it's an over trigger. This thing is broken, right? Especially with Kairi. If you pull this, now your stuff hits way bigger. You can your attacks additionally plus 20k. And for the heals, that's the only spare heals that I got, and so I don't really care if it's a bling or not. As long as it's 4 copies, then it should be fine. For the draws, right, you do want to play the draw trigger with effect, right? This actually, people might not know this, but this is the one of the best cards that came from that set. This draw trigger, I've seen places that cost like $4 per copy, you know, so that's like what, $16 for a pair. No, for a pair, for 4 copies, right? Then you just play one additional draw trigger because, you know, it's a draw trigger. I play 5 because if it's 6 it's too much, if it's 4 it's a bit less, so just, you know, play 5. You can play any one random draw triggers, but for this, you know, this card is very important. Don't throw this away.
All right, on to the alternatives, right? These cards is what I would say are very good as an alternatives, right? First, you have, if you can actually play more of the grade 3 Kairi. Yes, let's say you are afraid that the grade 4 won't come to you, so, you know, there's always an option to play her. Then you have LV, right? LV is just Fossat but for lyrical, but instead of her getting the resist, it's everyone getting the resist except for her, you know. And when she attack hits, you can counter charge. It's pretty good, honestly. You can give additional pressure to the opponent and you might get some counter charge out of it. One of the best cards that I would say that you could actually put in is Kinky. So what she does is she puts one Esthesis from the drop zone into the soul, a normal unit Esthesis, by the way, please bear in mind. Then in additional, you can counterblast 1 and she gains 10k. So during the grade 4 turn, she can hit for 28 alone. So, you know, it's very good. And you can use LAPLUME more now. Then you have the World Life Tour, if I'm not mistaken, if that's the name. So what this whale does is it's in set order, so you can counterblast 2, then it gives the Vanguard the ability all my rearguards gain 5000 power. The WGP list, he did play this and I tried it. I mean, it's okay, but it's a bit too heavy in my opinion, because I rather use my counterblast for getting my pieces to draw rather than to get them some power. My power is already pretty good. But, you know, if you want to play the whale is, you know, amazing. It's an amazing card, but personally, I wouldn't play it. Then you have this amazing order card. This is Sweet. So what they do is counterblast 1, you check top 5, and then you call anything to the open rearguard. And then the rest you shuffle. This is strong because not only gives you a free field, it shuffles the deck. And deck shuffling in Overdress is very amazing. That means you can pull, you have a higher chance to pull your over trigger. It's very good. Then you have this card, right? I don't remember her name, but I thought this was good, but it's actually just, you know, pretty decent. So what she does is when she's on place, counterblast 1, discard 2, and draw 2. So it's just hand filter. It's not too bad, but I don't run any situations where I want her in the deck. The replacement for AERITH, let's say you don't have AERITH, right? Feels bad. You can actually play her for more shield. So what her ability does is you call it to the Guardian Circle, you just reveal 1 Kairi, like, hey, boop, I have 1 Kairi. She gains 10k shield. You know, that's amazing. 15k shield just showing a Kairi. So, you know, it's a bigger shield than before. This is good. Just if you want to play this, remove AERITH if you don't have the AERITH. This is for a more late game type of Kairi, but yeah. So what does this card replace? You can replace this with Vibrant Symphony. Actually, you can replace all of this with Vibrant Symphony and, you know, still do wonders. The WGP list, he runs this, and this. I understand why. I think he wants to get in more to really guarantee that big shield coming from the grade 2. Yes. For the whale, it's initially I was a bit surprised, like, oh wow, he plays the whale. Does he have enough counterblast though? Because, you know, he doesn't have counter charge. I mean, he doesn't play LV. Everything in his deck is just counterblast. Like, oh, okay. So I gave it a try. You know, it's pretty okay, but in my opinion, for me, it's not my type of card, honestly. I like these types of card. these are my types of card. Nice resource for the late game. And yeah.
Alright, I know what you are wondering. Why Kairi? Right? Why do we want to play Kairi? Okay, I'll tell you the reasons why. First, it's the only deck that has a grade 4. You know, it feels bad that, you know, the DLBTO2, there's only one grade 4, which is for Kairi. There's no grade 4 for Laura Nerol, no grade 4 for Clarissa and whatnot, right? And the new right line, honestly, to be brutally honest, actually, the set in general, to be brutally honest, is a disaster. 90% of those cards are a disaster. But, you know, I still, you know, I paid a lot of money for these cards, right? And I was like, maybe we'll give Kairi a try, you know? It looks very interesting now. And to my surprise, the deck is very fun to play, because it reminded me of one of my decks that I have in V, which is Prisms. This is very similar to Prisms. It's just that, you know, compared to Prism, this deck is less resource to say. There's no Aqua, there's no Lizlot that you can spam every turn, right? But it does have the similar card like Rosa and Clear. Well, not really the abilities, but you know, the beat sticks are there. You know, you have Calfee, and you have AERITH, you know. I mean, they might not be prisms, but you know, they're quite similar to each other. And you have Kairi as yourself. You know, as long as you have a Kairi in Soul, your deck functions, honestly. And if you want to know about the matchups, right, for you, generally this deck can rush very early, especially with LAPLUME and with Alien here. Then during the grade 2 turn, you can, you know, you can use MELTY and Cecilia. Very amazing. You also have CARDIA as well. Very good early game, right? And the way to really play this deck is to have a momentum in the early game, right? If you don't have the momentum in the early game, this deck might stall a bit, honestly, because this deck, it's designed for rushing. Yes, it's designed for rushing. So why not like make use of the early game, then build up the momentum for Kairi. Amazing card, actually. Amazing card, by the way. At first I thought it was like, oh, it's decent, you know. But then hey, after you play tested, she doubted me wrong. I always like to get doubted, you know. Well, yeah. Amazing card. So just play it, guys. Really, just play it. Have a try. Yes, have you try.
Alright guys, that is it for my deck profile. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Be civilized, yeah. Do like, subscribe, and hopefully we can bring you more videos in the coming weeks. See you.